was a hypo, and I'm like, welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared. I'm here with Robert. What's up, brother?
Yo.
And today we are talking about one of the best Marvel trilogies ever.
The best one
the MCU Captain America.
The best one without a consistent creative team.
Yeah, we'll give it that. Hey, what's up, Cameron? And Kirby says, I didn't even know Civil War was a Cap movie till 2020. Well, fun fact, that was the movie was thought up because Batman versus Superman was announced.
But somewhat, it's arguable. It's the better movie. Arguable.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I've long said it would have made more sense now, like as a post Endgame movie, because then you have more characters that you could play with. Because the thing about the thing about the original Civil War is you had so much more characters you could play with. Like you could even do like Carol Danvers on the bad side for obvious reasons. But
right.
it's like there was so many other places they could go with that. But anyway, so we're talking about the Captain America movies. We'll talk briefly about like the leader and General Ross and stuff, and Sam Wilson as Cap. So let's start with the original. The original one,
the prequel.
Yeah, the first Captain America movie, and we're talking about the MCU movie, not the
Avenger.
The first Avenger. That one feels very much. That one seems. Interesting thing with that, it seems a lot like they were doing like something like Superman 78.
I think
a little
so.
bit.
I think so. It was supposed to be a period piece. I mean, it's Joe Johnston, the guy who did The Rocketeer.
Yeah, so I definitely see where he's going with that, and that
100%. Jurassic Park 3.
Mm-hmm. I found an old recording of me and my friends watching Endgame when Tony Snap, my homie, played a fart sound effect. That's good. That's good.
And I gotta say, one thing I want to say about that movie, the first Avenger, it's just good, a great self-contained movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It has a lot of great references, like if you're the soldiers are reading the first Captain America comic.
Oh, when they find the cube.
Yeah, and his suit that he's on when he's on tour, that's the original Captain America suit.
Yep.
Complete with the wingtips and everything. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I say Hugo Weaving was a good choice, but given how he backed away from blockbusters afterwards, probably not the best choice in the long run.
Yeah, although I will say they did a good job in like Endgame of bringing him back without bringing him back. So I was like, okay,
different
actor, but you're bringing back that version of the character. Barry Allen says, hot take. I like the first Avenger, Bear the Winter Soldier. That is a hot take, but hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
I would say this: for not having the same creative team, there is a good consistency to it for the most part. But the difference is what makes it. I won't say it hurts it per se, but compared to something like Guardians, where it's consistency all the way, creative and all that stuff, it does really stand out.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So
and also because this one's a superhero movie, the other two are thrillers.
The other two are like more political thrillers. I'll agree with you on that one. With that, yeah.
Not saying it's bad. I am not saying any of those are any of that is bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. Marvel started to get like a lot more people on board with the movies than like typical comic book fans, because a lot of the movies they made blank, like Ant-Man. It's a heist movie that also has superheroes, or
right.
Winter Soldier. It's a political thriller that has superheroes.
Yeah, but I would say though, this one is a superhero origin.
Yeah, it's a straight up actually, this one's more of like a war movie.
True.
It's like this way. It's not as intense as like Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers, but my point is, it's a war movie that has a superhero. That's kind of the formula there.
Funny thing when you see about though, this one has more fantastical technology compared to the other two parts of the trilogy, which is in present day. Even though this is in the past and the other things are in the present, this one has more fantastical technology.
Well, yeah, because the Hydra was using what we would discover later was technology derived from an Infinity Stone. So, yeah, it's going to be very fantastical.
Yeah.
And
well, not just that though,
mhm.
but the tech that gave Cap his abilities in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's kind of interesting is like when you watch Captain America 1, there is legit like major like setup for stuff that is answered even in Falcon the Winter Soldier when Erskine says with the serum, good becomes better, bad becomes worse, or like amplifies your worst tendencies. That's why when you see like John Walker cut someone's head off with the shield, that kind of explains that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I do like that they go back to that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then we get to so it's one, and then we get to the Bucky Barnes's death. Now, in the comics, it's different. In the comics, they're stopping a rocket from like crashing, and then he gets caught on the rocket, right?
Yep, pretty much.
In this one, he just falls off a train. Which,
Well, that's because in the original they were meant to kill off the character, whereas here it's meant to be a setup.
yeah, because at this point they knew they were eventually probably knew they were eventually going to do the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
yeah. Which going into that one, so this is in the aftermath of Avengers. Captain America has joined Shield. This is like one of my favorite MCU movies of all time, The Winter Soldier.
Yep, and it takes elements from so much. Nick Fury versus the Agent of Shield, Secret Warriors.
And what's kind of funny, Robert, is that so the first time I saw this was like before I was a comic book reader, so I didn't know that like they were leading to the reveal that Shield was Hydra the entire time.
So I'm like, over by Hydra.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, as soon as like they said that in the theaters, I legit went, "Oh wait, what?"
Yep.
Like they do that so well, and it's one of those movies again that has ramifications well down the timeline.
Even though Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. played up with a lot of that got ignored.
Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. eventually was like decanonized, I think.
It's questionable because they do keep things like the Darkhold.
Yep. Barry says, how do you guys feel about Bucky being less of a Jimmy Olsen Robin figure to Cap like in the comics and being more of a Bruce Wayne brother?
Brubaker already did that when he did the Winter Soldier story.
Yeah. So what you guys should understand is that a lot of the MCU Captain America, yes, is taken a lot from Ultimates, but it's taken majorly from Brubaker's Captain America.
Definitely taking a lot more from Brubaker, especially Bucky, because the whole idea of him being this little, like, yes, there were some military troops that had kids, little sidekick, type characters, but they never would send him out into combat, no matter what. So having it be he's just a slightly younger soldier made more sense, and had it be, as Brubaker revealed, he actually went out on secret missions that Cap wouldn't do that would ruin his image.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like again teasing the Winter Soldier. The one critique that I kind of had when it comes to like Bucky Barnes is that yes, they hinted about it a little bit in dialogue, but they never showed any of the Bucky and Natasha stuff because for those that don't know, Bucky was Natasha's trainer and then boyfriend.
I think that's because, again, they want to play things differently. And you gotta also remember, by Winter Soldier, for whatever reason, he who shall not be named was trying to pair her up with the Hulk. Boy, am I glad they dropped that fat as soon as he was gone.
Yeah, because that was like the stupidest I'm like, what the heck?
Her talking him down was fine. Actually playing it up like a romance, on the other hand.
Yeah, I'm like, this was never set up in any of the movies. But then again, he who must not be named is known for pushing romances that aren't set up. So anyway.
True.
But so you get the Winter Soldier, and again, it is straight up like one of those political conspiracy movies, but with superheroes, air quotes. I do like how they like modernize Falcon. Instead of a dude in a bird suit that talks to birds, he's just a dude in like a high-tech jetpack.
To be fair, he did technically have a high-tech suit in the first place.
You mean in the comics?
Yeah.
But But
Yeah,
like
I don't remember
Red Wing is a
parts.
drone instead of an actual bird he communicates
Oh,
with.
that much, yeah, that is true. Also, I would say I did love how Natasha's keep on trying to pair Steve off with some other girl, and it's just like, how about her from? And I just love the casual banter dialogue. That's better than anything He Who Shall Not Be Named came up with of this dialogue of them talking about like, how about this girl? Nah. And then after they kick some butt, they pick up the conversation in the elevator.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Other from accounting looks good.
After they kick Setwell off the roof, and he goes, "How about her? Oh, the lip ring. I'm not sure I'm ready for that." I love that. That is so Steve. That is
Like,
so Steve.
That is so well written, Steve, who just like, one thing I would always give props to during the 90s, there was a part when go-go dancing was coming back and Steve was in his element because he was there when it was first a thing.
Yeah, but I love where in the movie starts and he and Sam are like running across DC.
Oh, yeah, on your left.
On your left, yeah, exactly.
Don't you dare, don't you? On your left.
I love where Sam goes, where like Steve introduced himself. I'm like, I'm Steve Rogers. And then and Sam goes, yeah, I figured that.
I love that on your left. And he's like, don't you do it, don't you do it.
And then they brought that in on the Endgame. Like, that's what opens the portal. And it's like, on your left. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Or when he wakes up, like, on your left.
Yeah, I know. I love that. So then we get the whole, like, Winter Soldier stuff. They fake out that Nick Fury was killed by the Winter Soldier. And I'm like,
yeah, we all knew it was. It's Sam freaking Jackson. And by that point, we knew he still had more movies in his contract.
The other thing that I think is really funny, if you look at if you track the MCU, particularly with Bucky, they tease him becoming Captain America so many times. They keep giving him the shield. Yeah, they keep giving him the shield, and I'm like, you couldn't have done that.
Unfortunately, because one, the comics brought up the Falcon cap, and two, they decided rather than going accurate, they could then go in whatever direction they wanted.
True. That's true. It's just like.
Now, to be fair though, I'm pretty sure comic Falcon cap came first. Maybe with the intent on influencing the movies, but I'm pretty sure though the movie did not influence the comics to do it.
No. Bucky cap came first, and Brubaker.
No, I know. I'm saying Falcon cap. I don't think influenced. I don't think it was a case of the movie influencing them to bring in Falcon cap. I think it was a case where the comics did it and maybe had the intent on influencing the movie and were successful, or it was just happenstance.
Well, it doesn't mean they can't always do it at a later date too. It's not like
I'm pretty sure the actor who plays Bucky is not going to want to do it just because he doesn't want that headache.
We'll see. But anyway, Cameron says, do you guys think Alexander Pierce should be revealed to Red Skull? No, I'm fine with it being this way. I really am. Yeah. It would have been kind of a cop-out if it was revealed that, I was the Red Skull the entire time.
I got to say, Captain America, I am a big fan of your films.
Yeah, I love that. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, it would have 100% been a cop-out if they were like, yeah, this is the Red Skull. I like the idea that it's like corruption at the highest levels of government.
Exactly.
And again, that's the other thing that I really dig about the Captain America movies is that the fact. Okay, so the problem I had with Falcon, the Winter Soldier, as opposed to the Captain America movie trilogies, is that Falcon, the Winter Soldier went a little too hitting you over the head with the politics, whereas
the cops is like,
yeah, the cops harass, now recognizing Sam as Falcon, even though he's an Avenger. I'm pretty sure they would have seen him without his goggles once.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
And he's a military figure.
Yeah, exactly. He was literally on TV. You can't tell me they didn't televise when he gave the shield to the museum.
Exactly.
But it's whereas with the movies, yes, they do get political, but they get political in a way that they keep it general, so it's not like hitting one side over the head.
Or in the case of Civil War, it was already politics that were already established in the comic version.
Well, plus they kind of established that like both sides have a point. So again, it's not they're not taking a hard stance on either side, and that's what the original comic I think did fairly well.
Which we talked about on my 500s. Go check it out.
Yeah, Definitely, but yeah, they kept it out because if you notice, a subtle thing.
You almost signed it. You almost signed it.
Yeah, a subtle thing with Civil War, by the way, if you notice, they play heroic music whenever both sides do something in the airport fight. So it's not like they're playing like dark and dreary music whenever it seems that like Iron Man is winning, except at the end.
But that's more of a case of, I think it wasn't so much Iron Man winning so much as the death of the friendship.
Yeah, exactly. So it was more. It wasn't necessarily about the. Plus, at that point, the argument was done. They already had the argument. But I'm saying when you're in the argument, you then. Yeah, exactly. But going to Civil War, this was one. So this is, and Robert and I were kind of talking about this before we went live. The it's not necessarily a problem with the movie itself.
No, but the problem
it was titled wrong.
It was done. It should have been Avengers, or let me tell you what it is. It's Avengers 2.5.
That's basic, yeah, exactly. But again, it should have been titled an Avengers movie because yes, Captain America is like a central figure.
It does carry over plot points from Winter Soldiers, especially the deaths of the Starks. So I do feel that does give it a little bit of a connection.
But the death of the Starks was never addressed in any of the other Captain America movies.
No, it was Winter Soldier. It was a blink and you'll miss it, but you see when going over some of the people that he's killed and killed off,
okay,
you do see a newspaper mentioning the deaths of the Starks.
Okay, I see.
So it was established. It was established in Winter Soldier.
And let me ask you this, Robert. When the movie was coming out, were you Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
I was Team whatever told a good movie.
With me, I was Team Cap because to me, yeah, they both have great points. Don't get me wrong. The thing about Cap, as soon as he said, what happens if we know we have to go somewhere, but they won't let us? And they literally do this in the movie where they're like, hey, Zemo is going to go unleash an army of super soldiers. And they're like, nah, you have to stand down. And I'm like, you're literally making his point for him.
Yeah, that's true. Although I will say, given the political climate, and it wasn't just a North American town, and this was also on a global scale.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I like about the movie. It's a global scale, and it deals with the consequences of Age of Ultron that most movies would have just brushed under the rug. This is why I said before. Yes, New York got damaged, but it wasn't catastrophic like the entire city was leveled or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could actually move aside. But this is what I've said. Starting with the DCEU, starting with Man of Steel, what it was been like starting the MCU, like Avengers, with Avengers 2.
Again, but
destroying a city.
They didn't destroy all of Metropolis.
Okay, no, I get that. I'm just saying though, the scale compared to New York's damage. They didn't show you that much of New York getting, as they revisited it, you see buildings collapse. Even in this, they show the Hulk jumps into a building and like the whole thing falls over. Okay, yeah, but when you looked at in Man of Steel though, so much of it was just flat ground. Not even.
Well, here's why. Also, you had the World Engine thing that was beyond what Superman even did.
Oh no, I get that. I'm not talking about if Superman could have saved lives. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking anything about that. I'm just talking about starting your movie universe with that level of destruction in general sets things off on a bad foot.
Why?
Because that's too much destruction. You're already going to have people question and doubt the heroes. At least with Avengers, when it started off with that first movie, yes, there were still people who were going to doubt things, but it was still good enough that you have people still celebrate them as heroes.
Either way, they were gonna celebrate the heroes, dude. They still celebrated Superman in the movie.
No, I know, and I understand it. I'm just saying, though, given all the fallout both Man of Steel and Age of Ultron had in their follow-up movies, it's why I'm comparing it to.
But anyway, so
yeah, sorry.
I do like this. To your point, Robert, I really like how Civil War addresses the consequences of all of the movies. In other words, they don't make it where like it's the Wanda thing that sets it off. They're like, no, it was building for a while, like New York, the Winter Soldier, Washington D.C., and like
those helicarriers.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, oh, and Sokovia, they literally address all the big mass casualty events, and I'm like,
It just Sokovia was the straw, much
no,
like
it was Africa,
oh, Africa. Oh, right.
but
Oh, no. But to be fair though, no, I'm talking about the Sokovia was the start of the Accords.
Start of the Accords. Yes, exactly.
That's what I meant. Africa, and then the assassination of T'Challa's father led to stop putting it into law. But I'm just saying, though, the talk.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was the remember Crossbones.
Oh, right, Crossbones.
Which, by the way, what a waste of a character.
I'm sure the actor felt the same way.
What I could see what one of the reasons why he said I like the DCEU a lot better. I think I'm starting to see a reason why.
Yeah, because the DCEU, and I'm pretty sure even the DCU coming up, are going to keep a lot of their villains around because they know better than
that was the problem with the overall MCU because they had great villains, but Thanos is the first one Thanos was the first one that lasted more than one movie
and longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Where a running gag. That became a running gag. The villains would just beat him for 15 minutes and then boom, dead. Never see him again.
Yeah, it's because they never, besides Red Skull, we never saw that many Captain America villains.
Nope. Not Zemo. The other guy. The guy who was the scientist in the first one. And
Zola. Okay.
Zola counts. He counts.
That's more under the umbrella of Hydra, but I see what you're saying there.
Then they killed him off for good by blowing him up, but still, he counts.
Yeah, he was literally there for like a minute in that movie.
But it counts because he was still one of the big brains behind, helping out with everything.
Yeah, but by the way, Cameron said, no, Claw is a Black Panther guy.
Yeah, Claw is a Black Panther guy, but still.
But Cameron says, I will say a big mistake. Yeah, I was killing Crossbones as I would revisit him in Falcon Winter Soldier. I did like how in Falcon Winter Soldier they brought back Baltrock the Leaper.
Baltrock the Leper.
Yeah, that was cool. By the way, the one thing that I will always give Falcon the Winter Soldier is the last episode when we finally see Sam's Captain America suit. It is straight up the comic suit.
It is. And like I said, look, as much as I would prefer Bucky, Falcon still counts. At least it's not some original character.
And it makes sense for the story that they're going for. And again, my problem with Falcon Winter Soldier is just they went a little too hard into the race direction for that, where it seemed to come out of nowhere is my problem.
It did. And I will just say this. People complaining about the actor talking about how Captain America is, it was America. It's like, they do realize he's not like U.S. agent who's blindly loyal to the government.
Well, here's the thing. Anthony Mackie, I think he wasn't taken out of context. Well, he was technically taken out of context. I think what he was trying to say is you don't have to be an American to like Captain America.
Well, that too, but I also think it's also in part that he doesn't. Yes, he believes in the pinnacle of American values. Doesn't mean that he has to agree with America, because how many times has Steve, given up being Cap?
A few times, but the point is, like, see, that's the good thing about Captain America is that, and by the way, one of my favorite arcs of Ultimate Captain America was the one where he fights this villain that's like trying to break his American spirit, and then. Cap it's like essentially the guy's like forcing Cap to watch like all the atrocities the United States has done since he went in the ice. And Cap goes, yeah, I knew all that stuff. Real patriotism is not like blindly admitting your country hasn't made mistakes. Real patriotism is believing what your country can be.
Yeah, exactly. Again, that's the problem with someone like U.S. Agent at its worst.
Yeah. Although I will say I did like U.S. Agent in Falcon Winter Soldier because it's more like
that's actually right word, almost not word for word, beat for beat, the Mike Grunwald's The Captain storyline for the U.S. Agent portion, right down to the death of his family. That is right out of the comic. They actually straight on adapted. No changes on that part.
Which I like that. And then, because I'm really glad he's sticking around because I do like how the actor that's playing him, had auditioned to play Captain America.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
That's such a great idea. And again,
Cast the runner-up.
yeah, so going to Falcon Winter Soldier. One thing I really liked about that is that they didn't show is that they saw that to his core, Walker is a good man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just and he was trying to be a good soldier. It's just I think he was always a little impulsive, or like he acted on emotions, and that's what the serum amplified. Hence why when his friend was killed, he was blinded by anger and shot that dude's head off.
Mm-hmm.
So I really dug that. Plus, Elaine as the Countess, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Contessa.
Contessa, yeah. And then
remember when you and I went over Secret Warriors, that was one of the characters.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. So she's basically the Amanda Waller of the MCU.
Except she is villainous.
Except she actually is. She's villainous, while Amanda's more like, I'm still doing good stuff, but the ends justify the means.
Exactly. Whereas, Elaine, I'm just thinking about saying that, is pretty much all but Hydra. She's all but Hydra.
Yeah, exactly. But so I had a theory that Sharon Carter was a Skrull because of the fact that, like, the power broker, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be kind of cool if they're setting up a secret invasion like this?
Well,
now,
that was dumb, and what we got was dumb.
Did you also see, by the way, that they basically confirmed that Armor Wars is not going forward?
I think we knew that the moment Shield said he had no clue.
The minute, I think they would have fast-tracked it if Secret Wars hadn't flopped.
Yep.
But still, it's like, how do you waste Secret Wars? By the way, so Giratina says, hello again, Comics League, what's up, dude? Captain America is by far the best standalone trilogy within the MCU. It's his opinion. Just that Marvel Studios choosing Civil War over Serpent Society was a mistake. I could see that. But again,
but in the long run.
See, Falcon the Winter Soldier won me over to Sam being Cap because there was that moment where, yes, it went heavy into race, but they still had him say, they basically had him say, I'm wearing the Stars and Stripes because what it represents, not because of its past.
Exactly. It kind of reminds me, did you ever see that one comedy bit of Cap finding out about Hiroshima?
No.
Oh Lord, it's really crazy. It's a comedy bit where Cap is talking about that the bad guy's going to ready to blow up a nuke in the middle of a city, and then Steve is just like, America would never do that. The guy literally unmatched and like, okay, did you not know about this? And Cap and Steve is just complaining like, man, F America at the end. And it's just playing up about like, it takes all blind patriotism to a ludicrous degree where he's completely like in the dark on every horrible thing. He doesn't know about racism or anything like that.
Well, even, it's kind of interesting. Speaking on that, subtly, if you notice in the dialogue in Winter Soldier, Cap actually brings up that, we did some borderline bad stuff for the greater good. Like when he said, we did some stuff in the war, and so sometimes it made it hard to sleep at night, but we did it because we were on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that's actually really genius. I really like that.
Even in the Ultimate Cap, when he punched Steve because he's saying like, I'm Captain Nick Fury, he punched him like, there's only one black guy and he's a soldier and he's not a captain. Mm-hmm. I did that. It's because he's more talking about like, get your facts straight, you ratsy.
Mm-hmm. But I will say, my favorite moment of Ultimate Cap is when he goes, this A doesn't stand for France.
I'm torn on that. I love it in the moment, but let's be honest, it's playing up the stereotype about French sorority when that was the higher ups of France who did that. The revolutionaries were some of the most patriotic and stuff that he would respect.
But Cap doesn't necessarily know that. It's going back to like the perception from that time period.
No, if he fought in World War II, he would have been in France and we would have fought alongside those soldiers.
All right, but it's still it was a funny moment. At
No. It's a great moment. I just think it makes me cringe nowadays.
I also really liked when he finds out about what Hank did to Janet, and he beats the crap out of him.
Okay, that, and he tells him grow big so we can make him even more emasculated.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that is for even when Hank gets giant, Cap just beats the crap out of him.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, that is freaking dope.
Of course, nothing's ever going to beat Cap kicking the Hulk in the balls.
When did he do that?
Right, during the first Ultimate, right after he dropped the tank on him, he got up and kicked him right in the balls.
I also love where the Hulk is back in the banner. He goes, "What did I do?" He goes, "Cap, you gotta believe me." And then Cap goes, "Don't worry, kid. We take care of our own. By the way, you might want to get that gash in your cheek looked at." Yeah, he just kicks him. I love that. Yeah, see, Captain America is a lot. Here's the interesting thing about Captain America. He's a lot like Superman in that to the general public, pre-MCU, I would say, he was the Marvel Boy Scout.
Which he still is by comparison.
He still is.
Keep trying to do.
He still is, but I mean, in terms of like the general audience, it's kind of like how the general audience used to think Superman was boring.
By the way, funny thing is, fun little fact, back when Steve actually had a secret identity, yes, he did actually have one. You know what one of his jobs he had was?
What?
A comic artist. You know who he worked for? Marvel. You know what comic he drew? You know what comic he drew? Captain America. I'm not kidding. That's real.
That's so good. That is awesome.
In the comics, there actually is a Marvel Comics in universe, and they'll actually give them the stories from the Avengers and all that to be based off of.
That's fantastic. I love that. That is awesome.
Now we're supposed to assume they change things like identity names and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Well, isn't it like in the Marvel universe where like the comics are actual legal documents that can be used in a court of law?
Did that, but yes.
That's actually really funny. Your Honor, Exhibit A, Avengers number 242.
Right, which again, it's supposed to be in universe. It was based off of those events.
Yeah. Cameron says, no wonder the Avengers are rich. Yeah, kind of. But
no, they don't see a dime from it.
True. Yeah, exactly. But all right. So now
we got a little bit about Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. So in the Incredible Hulk movie, the Edward Norton movie, we get introduced to this character named the Leader, and so Robert, explain to people who the Leader is.
The Leader is okay. First of all, we all know gamma reacts people very differently. Some become a Hulk, some become an abomination, some become a banshee. In the case of the Leader, he got a big brain, either big bulbous or big and tall. And he is one of the smarter villains in the MCU. Maybe not the smartest, but just to say, there was a time when he, Egghead, Dr. Doom, the Red Ghost, and so many other smart villains formed the Intelligentsia. Basically, the villainous, intelligent version of the what was that group? Not the Cabal. The
Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
So, in other words, instead of being an online community of incels, the Intelligentsia was actually something.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that She-Hulk show was such a betrayal, man.
But to be fair though, the name it's not. I think the concept makes better. The name, I could see why they went with just the name for it. But yeah, so the Leader is one of the smarter villains, and he's a big still left dangling plot thread that's finally getting resolved.
Yeah, I dig that. And then, so obviously, so Indiana Jones becomes the president in this movie. I'm only kidding.
Again.
So what they had to do.
You get what I mean? You get what I mean again, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Get off my plane.
Yeah. So what they had to do. So unfortunately, William Hurt died. Which, first off, I want to say, William Hurt was fantastic as Ross. Like,
I would say, though, you know who I think was better than him?
Who?
Sam Elliott from the Ang Lee movies.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you that. He was a great one. But okay. So let me ask this, Robert. How does Ross become Red Hulk?
Okay, back to the intelligentsia again.
Oh, okay.
This is during the Red Hulk era, as they led up to what was going to be called World War Hulk. The intelligentsia, now beforehand, at the very end of Peter David's run, they killed off Betty Ross.
Mm-hmm.
She got killed by the Abomination. But then right after David left, Joe Casey came on at the very end and revealed that Ross put her body in stasis until they could ever cure her. But for all intents and purposes, she's considered dead.
Mm-hmm.
And thus, then the intelligentsia came to him, and this was right after World War Hulk, and they told him, Hulk, look what this Hulk just did. We need to put a stop to it. We have a plan, and we will bring back your daughter, making her Red She-Hulk, and we can give you the power and the means to take the Hulk down once and for all. Thus they bonded him with cosmic radiation as opposed to gamma radiation and made him the Red Hulk.
And isn't it like the angrier he gets, the hotter he gets?
Internal temperature-wise, hotter, yes.
I'll be clear, internal temperature-wise is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear.
So essentially, he's like Godzilla at the end of King of the Monsters, where he's like all jacked up in nuclear radiation as he's walking. Things are melting around him.
But it can be to his detriment because it's so hot he'll pass out.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's essentially he's an anti-Hulk, which see here's my concern with the new Captain America movie that's coming out next week. All right. So Sam doesn't have Sam doesn't have the super soldier serum and he's fighting a Hulk.
That's true, but he does have his wings and everything and the shield still.
And from what the trailer showed, it looks like in the wings is the same like kinetic technology from Black Panther's suit.
Exactly.
So there is that. I can gotta see that. Even though like throwing the shield and catching was presumably like a not necessarily heavy shield, because I think they brought up that that vibranium is like really light. Mm-hmm. So there was that. Mm-hmm. But crazy how quickly they were to recast minor characters.
They clearly were building up to him by having him be a chief of states or something in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when
he was
up there.
Secretary of State. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were building up his political career already, and you want Ross to be Red Hulk, and clearly he's not a minor character.
Exactly.
To other characters.
Yeah, exactly. And
Rhodey was more of a minor character initially than Ross ever was.
And both of them were like had to be recast, had to be, because
one was
in
for
terms
money,
of Rhodey's,
the other was for death.
Yeah, so either way they had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like
I know what
at least they're
talking about T'Challa.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a recast. I think they're gonna bring in another universe version that is a recast.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way they'll do it. Because he's dead, they kind of have to bring in another universe version. Mm-hmm. He died in the MCU.
Exactly. So I don't think they're going to count it as a recast.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that these all new, all different Avengers they're kind of doing, or Young Avengers, they're not going to be the new thing. I think that they're probably just doing it for one-off projects. And Maybe. Then in Doomsday and Secret Wars, they'll bring in the actual Avengers.
I don't think so. I think they're going to use it to have the new and old team up, and then use that to give kudos to the new.
Or maybe I still think if they're smart, Secret Wars is a reboot.
You know what I think they're going to do? I think they're going to treat it as old and busted, new hotness.
Hmm. No, but I mean, it's
Men in Black.
Yeah, what I mean is essentially bring in an alternate version of Steve and Tony, and then just bring back Captain America and Iron Man.
Nah,
because none of their all new, all different projects have worked so far.
I will agree on that one.
They whether or not we personally enjoyed the projects, which there were some that I actually enjoyed. They bombed commercial. They bombed in terms of cash, and that's what Disney cares about. So, ironically, you know what's kind of funny? All new, all different. The movies ended up as well as it did in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
That's the funny. It's astounding to see how like the mismanagement of the movies is like reflecting the comics at both Marvel and DC. So it's really
wasn't it
hilarious
revealed
how
that Fahey lost some control of this batch around?
Yeah, you could kind of feel a little bit of it because we noticed when he got a little more control back, Deadpool Wolverine.
Well, I didn't know that didn't work by that time.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But
But I do
so
think the oversaturation of projects was definitely a out of his hand. That did not feel like something he would have done.
yeah, exactly. So I think that's a good place to leave it. But so Robert, what's your favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe Captain America project?
Civil War.
Really? All right. And
I
why?
really like Civil War just because of having all the moments, and I gotta be honest, nothing's gonna beat the first time I saw the trailer saying Spidey.
Yeah, that's a good moment. I
Hey,
like that
everyone.
one. Yeah, hey, everyone. Yeah, exactly. My favorite is the
secret. They kept a good secret.
yeah until the trailer came out. My favorite is Winter Soldier, just because of like
Hey, that's very close. Let me make it clear. It's neck and neck.
yeah the Captain the Winter Soldier is like straight up my favorite MCU movie because of like it does with a small cast like tells a big story but doesn't overdo it.
Well, you say, you know, they actually went out of their way to try to make the movie how it should have ended proof.
How they do that?
No, I'm saying they went in trying to make it like something that how it should have ended couldn't come up with it. And the guy who did how it should have ended admitted it was hard.
Yeah, or like it was the honest trailer because I think it's like they were like, oh wow, because I think what's kind of funny is that when they were making the movie, they were like, what would the honest trailer guys say about this movie? How do we make it so they can't honest trailer this?
Oh, maybe,
and they
maybe
tried
it was
it.
honest trailer, not how it should have ended. Maybe it was that.
Yeah, I think it was that. But yeah, and I will say when it was announced that like Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doom. When they said the Russos are back, I'm like, okay, I think I can have a little bit more faith because not only did they do the best Captain America movies, they did the best Avengers movies too.
I think that though, I do think that from my opinion now, they're going to bring King back because they need to resolve that plot thread.
I think they kind of did in Loki season 2. They said, "Oh, Loki's over there. It's probably not gonna do anything."
No, not the Council of Kings is what I mean.
What I think they could do, if they really want to establish that Doom is the threat, have Doom show up in the Council of Kings and just murk everybody.
Oh, no, I know. But you know, they're probably going to bring him back just to do that.
Yeah, I would say that would probably work.
Now, I'm hearing rumors he's only in Doomsday.
Well, yeah, which would make sense because...
No. I mean, Robert RDJ. That's what I'm hearing. That he's not in Secret Wars, which I find stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But they
basically said that but the Russos basically said the Secret Wars is the Doom one.
I know. That's what I'm trying to understand.
I think the rumors are being kind of wrong there, and they're trying to say, "Oh no, they're bringing back Kang for Secret Wars," and I'm like,
nah.
They could. Here's the thing: even if they did the '80s Secret Wars, Kang's not the villain in that one either.
He got killed.
Yeah, he got killed. Either way, like this way, it was either going to be Doom or who was the villain in the original one?
Beyonder.
Or the Beyonder, which either one of those could have worked, but still, it was not going to be Kang. So I'm like, what? But anyway, so Robert, where can we find you, and what have you got coming on your channel?
I've got you can come onto my show. YouTube.com/Willin, WILLIN. And what I've got? Well, Pete and I are going to be going over a lot more of the White Knight verse, and we got most of those in the can.
Heck yeah.
Yep. In fact, the only last one we have left to record is Generation Joker.
Oh, sweet.
I got to say, Beyond the White Knight was the best one.
I still have to read that one, which I will. For me, so we're going to talk about for movie night is next Avengers. Then for
no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
When's it my turn to pick the movie?
I think the next Saturday.
All right.
So, and then in terms of Super Wonder Legacy, Britt and I are going to talk about a lot of the African American superheroes, like all the Wildstorm characters and a few others.
You mean Milestone? Don't you mean Milestone?
Milestone. Yeah, sorry, I keep getting those two confused. And and in terms of Wonder Woman Wednesday next week, I'm going to be discussing why Wonder Woman doesn't necessarily need a love interest. Suck it, Tom King. And for Under Two Capes next week, we're going to be talking about the Ed Brubaker Captain America run. Because it's also the movie, and I will be celebrating my birthday next Thursday, so it'll be a party stream. 29.
Jeez, you're young. You're young.
I know. Thank you.
I'm the old fart here.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of old farts, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Zois and Max about for life, and Steve Trevor, Steve Never. He belongs 6 feet in the ground. Zois the Max about for life. I'll see you later. Bye bye.